They didn't disappear. They adapted quietly, deliberately, and without leaving a trace anyone could follow. History tells you empires fall, that kings die, that power resets, that the world moves in cycles of collapse and rebirth. But that's not what happened. The throne was never abandoned. It was concealed, transferred, restructured into forms that no longer looked like power, but controlled it more completely than ever before. And what you're living through now is not a new system emerging from the ashes of the old. It's the same system, refined, upgraded, and made invisible. We were told power changes hands through revolutions, elections, and sudden collapses that reshape the world. But when you look closer, when you stop focusing on the surface, you start to see something else. The symbols repeat across centuries. The same structures reappear under different names. The control never actually breaks. Rome didn't fall. It transformed into something harder to detect and impossible to directly confront. The idea of the seventh king was never about a single man sitting on a throne. It represents a continuation, a lineage, a system that persists by changing its form while preserving its core. And it learned something very early in its existence. Visibility is weakness. To be seen is to be targeted. To be known is to be opposed. So it stepped back from the stage of history, removed the crown, and dissolved into the background of the systems people depend on every day. And in doing that, it became stronger than any king who ever ruled openly, because kings were always targets. They could be overthrown, assassinated, replaced, but a system cannot be removed in the same way. So power shifted, not from one ruler to another, but from rulers themselves into systems that shape reality from behind the scenes. Banks that control the flow of value, energy systems that define what is possible, information networks that shape perception itself. That's where the real throne moved. And once it moved there, it no longer needed to be visible to remain in control. Modern power doesn't present itself as authority. It presents itself as infrastructure. You don't see it as something ruling over you. You experience it as something you rely on, something you participate in, something that feels neutral but isn't. You don't vote for it, you don't question it, but you live inside it. Now it evolves again into something even more refined. AI, predictive systems, behavioral mapping, control that doesn't rely on force, but on anticipation. No resistance, because nothing feels forced. Every choice appears to be your own, while the range of possible choices is quietly shaped in advance. That's the perfection of it. And then comes what ancient language described as the short space, a period that isn't defined by chaos, but by acceleration. Everything begins to speed up. Technology advances faster than people can process. Financial systems begin to merge and digitize. Global structures start aligning in ways that seem disconnected, but move toward the same outcome. Everything starts locking into place, fast. Too fast for most people to step back and question what's actually happening. That's not instability, that's consolidation. A compression of power into fewer and fewer points of control, hidden behind complexity and speed. And once it's complete, it doesn't need to expand any further, because everything is already connected. This system was never designed to end like the empires that came before it. It doesn't collapse under its own weight. It doesn't fall to external pressure, because it removed the conditions that make collapse possible. No throne, no target, nothing you can point to and say, that's where power resides. Nothing you can remove to change the outcome. Just systems, layered, integrated, and self-reinforcing. And if this is real, then history as you understand it was never random. Wars weren't just conflicts, they were resets. Crashes weren't just failures, they were corrections. Technological leaps weren't accidental breakthroughs, they were transitions, moving the system from one phase to the next. Not chaos, calibration. Adjustments made over time to guide everything toward a final structure. And now, we're here. At the phase where power doesn't rise into view, but disappears completely into the framework of reality, because the most stable system is the one no one believes exists, the one that feels natural, inevitable, unquestionable. So if this is true, then you're not watching history unfold in real time. You're inside a system that is closing its final loop, completing a process that began long before you were born. A system that no longer needs to reveal itself because it has already embedded itself into everything. That's not evolution, that's design. If you can see the pattern, even for a moment, then you're already stepping outside of it. Subscribe to Unmasking the Gods. This isn't content, it's decoding.